Hey guys, welcome to this Blender tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make the Star Wars text crawl and the main Star Wars logo basically zooming out into space so that you can create your own magnificent masterpiece. So I did notice that a lot of tutorials were very long and sometimes left out very key elements. So I'm going to hopefully not miss any of the key elements and keep it short and simple so that anybody with Blender can do this. So this is Blender 3.01. There definitely is a newer version out, considering this is Friday, April 29th, 2022. There's definitely a new version, but this should work on most versions of Blender. So let's just open a general one, and let me really quick. You don't need to screencast your keys, by the way, to make this. Just to clarify. Okay, so we're just gonna select the default cube and press delete. Oh wait, you can see this. That's good. And we won't need our light either, so we'll delete that. But we will need our camera. So the very first part is we have our Star Wars text, right? So let's go to add text. Now, if you want to know a shortcut, Shift A and text, right? Okay, so now you can select this text by pressing number pad delete or period or whatever, and you can press 7 for top orthographic, and now you can press tab to go into edit mode. And now my particular title is going to be not Star Wars. Okay, so for this I'm going to be a little creative. Or maybe not. Scratch that plan. I am just going to do it like this. Okay, so, oh wait a second, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. Press tab again. You're no longer in edit mode. So I made these all large, and I just realized that I might have messed up because I want the font to be the Star Wars font. I'll have a link in the description to where you can download the font that I'm going to use if you like it. You might not like it, so here, let me get this Star Jedi, and then I'm going to use the Star Jedi hollow. Okay, so you can see that. What? I literally did an O there. Yeah, so let me tab into edit mode again. And so the key is to just if you don't like the, okay, so here's a demonstration, right? So you see that's lowercase a, and this is capital A. So I'm actually happy with all this. I don't know why the O, when you do an O, it's a capital R. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, you can feel free to tweak around with whether you want higher or lowercase. So okay, I'm happy with that. So we're just going to tab. Okay, so one of the things that wasn't mentioned in other tutorials is this is a 3D software, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm just clicking on this bubble, and you can drag this around to get all cool views. But you see, like, three-dimensionally, there's not really much there, right? So I like to add just a little bit of depth to my text. So select it just by clicking on it. And if you go to geometry, you can extrude it. Well, you can extrude it a lot, but I'm only going to do 0.01 meters, which is 1 centimeter. And you can see there now is a little bit of, oh, okay, a little bit of texture, you know. Okay, so I am going to set the alignment. That's under paragraph. And yeah, again, this is under the text. Okay, so I'm going to set it on center and center again. So if you look at top orthographic, and you can just pan by clicking on this little hand. If you click here and try to pan, nothing happens. Now you can zoom out, zoom in and out with the scroll wheel, but yeah, that doesn't do anything. So yeah, you have to click on this little hand gadget, unless you have your Blender configured a little bit better. Okay, so now we're going to add a material. And before we do this, let's just go over and change our render engine to cycles. And obviously, this is very specific as to what your computer is. If you have a GPU, make sure to do that in the preferences to make sure that it's set up correctly. So let's see, max samples. Viewport, I do not want 1024 samples. This is Blender 3.0. It does render slightly different. If I was to look at it, you can't see anything because I removed the light. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and we're going to go to the Materials tab and add a new material. And instead of Principled, we're actually going to do Emission. And the color needs to be a very specific, like yellowish, orangish. Okay, so I got it. FFE81F is your Star Wars text. Okay, so now we're going to make the thing, the text, disappear. Not literally. So if we go over here and we click on Item, and right here we have our timeline. So, and here we have our camera. So first, let's select the camera. And we can just zero these out and zero these out. And the way you do that is you just hold on one, you hold them all down, and then boom. So right now, if you press number pad 0, you can see what the camera's looking at, which is not much. But let's just adjust this the other way. Sorry. And we can see that we have it right there. Now, this really needs to be scaled a little more. So you can just grab there and do stuff like this, depending on, negative scale. That's quite fun. So I'm happy with 3, so I'm just going to type that in. Let's set origin. So the way I did that is right-clicking, set origin to center of mass. Okay, so now if I click 0, 0, then it should be perfectly centered. Okay, and it is better that way. And let's change our focal distance from 50 down to 35. And so now we can see we can put our camera a lot closer. So right there, just right, okay, yeah, so 5 is fine. And we can keyframe this. And the way that you do that is right here under your location tab. You just press I, and it's keyframed. And you can see the little keyframe that pops up right there. So let me really quickly reference the actual Star Wars to see how long it takes for the Star Wars text to disappear, I guess you could say. Okay, so after reviewing the footage, it takes 13 seconds to totally disappear. Now, yes, the crawl starts while it's disappearing, so that's why I'm doing this first. So, depending on, okay, so if you click right here, you can see what your frame rate is. And the original Star Wars was 24 frames per second. Actually, all the Star Wars are 24 frames per second. So just go with 24. That's a very good frame rate. So it takes 13 seconds to disappear. So we can just type in here because Blender does math for you. 13 times 4. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. 13 seconds. So that would be 24 times 13. Okay, so 312. And yes, the end of my timeline is not. So I'm just going to set this to 1,000. I'll make sure to put that back and show you guys how to do that. Okay, so at 312, it should be really far away. So let's do like negative 100. And it disappeared entirely. Oh no, Blender is broken. Well, actually, right here under view, we want to set our clip end to, well, actually, it's already on 1,000. I'll set it to 100,000 just because I'm crazy. But right here, select camera, press on the little camera thing, and you want to select that to be as far as, okay, so yeah, you can see that right there. Now you might say, Nathan, it'll get so far away, and yet you'll still be able to see it. So what is our solution? We make it fade out. So that's about how small it looks. Let's try negative 150. Okay, so that's about as small as it looks on the actual Star Wars. So let's keyframe that by pressing I again. Now let's open up a new thing. Remember, you just click right in the middle of the two. Okay, so I'm going to change this to timeline editor. I mean graph editor, I'm sorry. And we're just going to select our text, and right here you just right click, interpolation mode, linear, for a linear movement. But it is not linear. If you watch the film, it looks a little quadratic, right? It's going really slow at first and then it speeds up. So like if we were to preview this, yeah. So now we want to make it fade out. So the way that we're going to do that is, actually, let's just go here and we'll do shader editor. And you can see right here, the strength is 1. And if I just change this to 0, it disappears. Well, now it's black, but it once, oh my, I should show this. So under world, make it pitch black. Okay, now you can't see it unless there was light behind it, which there won't be light behind it, so you don't need to see it. Okay, so let's change this back to 1. Now, why does, okay, select your text, go to the keyframe by pressing this button, jump to keyframe, and maybe 10 frames prior, or actually 1 second, how long does it take? So half a second, so that's 12, so just frame 300. We can click on this, and I, right? And now, if we go to the next keyframe, we can type in 0, and then I. And so now, if we look at our animation, just imagine Star Wars theme music. And yeah, my graphics card is having lots of fun with that. Okay, so let me really quickly look back at my reference video to see what time this text crawl starts, and then we will jump into creating the text crawl. Okay, so turns out 10 seconds after the text starts zooming away, that's when the text crawl starts. So let's show you how to do this text crawl. So we can just And also, very quick way to change from rendered view to object mode is just Z and then numpad 6. Now you press 0 to exit camera view. And now you can see, this is pretty funny. Oh my goodness. Okay. Don't be as dumb as I am. 13 times 24. And what did I say I wanted it at? Negative 150. Right. Yeah. What's going on? Is this thing broken? Oh, okay. It's because I was looking in the top orthographic mode. Oh my. Yeah, so if you're looking in the top orthographic mode, even though this text is getting farther and farther away, you cannot tell. But as soon as you do this, you're like, oh my, that is really far away. Okay, so there we have it. And let's go back to frame 240. And now we're going to add text by Shift A, text. And we can just, that's way too zoomed in. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So here is where you get to really customize what you want. So tab and dear earthlings. You can type whatever you want. Like, I mean, it is a dark time for the rebellion, you know, but that's not what I'm planning to type. I'm going to come up with something ultra creative on the spot because that is my duty to humanity. Okay, there we go. So I just copied and pasted from notes. So you probably want to know what font to use. That's supposed to be my job. So if you go right here, font, select that, and it should take you directly to your font folder. If you're using Mac, unfortunately I do not know how to help you at this time. Please look for a better tutorial. So I'm going to use Franklin Gothic Demi Bond Regular, which looks roughly the same. So one thing that you might notice is that it's not really justified or whatever. So the way you do that is, by the way, I'm zooming in and out just by scroll wheel. The mouse keys is not showing it or whatever. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, paragraph, alignment. We're going to do flush, not justify, but flush. The only problem is right now it did absolutely nothing because we have not sized our text boxes. Right now it's at 0, and the way that this works is counterintuitive because if it's at 0, that means it's infinite, basically. So we can do this, and that seems way too wide. Okay, so that's pretty fair, I guess you could say. So I'll just do a round number, 13. Lucky 13. Okay, so there we have it. We have our text, and the same exact thing I'm going to do under geometry, extrude 0.01. Now yes, we could do this. This would actually be funny, wouldn't it? That would probably not be. Okay, so now we can go to material, add a new material, and I do want to change the color a little bit better because it is definitely not the same. So 1 second while I pull up the correct color. Okay, so under surface, emission, and the color should be E7A400. There we go. Now I'm going to select the Star Wars text. Oh my goodness, yes, you can see how bad of a color that is. That is not the same at all. So, and we're just going to do the same thing. Sorry about that. E7A400. So we're going back to this one, and we can just close this by doing that. Boom. So here we have it. If we go to rendered mode by doing Z numpad 8, you can see that this is sort of similar to the actual Star Wars text. Now we don't have a header. I'm about to show you how to do that. So right here we can go to here, and you can see that the size, well, actually you can't see that. Yeah, let's just pull this panel away from the wall. Okay, dimensions right here. Where is that at? They don't even have it. That is terrible. Okay, but anyway, dimensions, you can see it is exactly 13 meters this way. So you can see that to center it, we would need to move it to negative 13 divided by 2, which is 6.5. And now if you press 0, you'll be able to see that, and you'll say, wow, Nathan, you really did not do a good job of that. So the way that you do this is quite simple. Select all. Do. Okay, so now that's 6.76. Should be negative 6.76 divided by 2. And we're still scaled a little too big. Okay, so grab by pressing G and X and just shift it over. You can center it yourself. We'll actually precision center it once we've scaled it down. Whoa, that's too small. That is too small. So a little bit bigger. Oh, and it should be just a tad bit bigger. Let's just do 0.4. Okay, so 5.2. Okay, negative 5.2 divided by 2. Okay, that's about as good as it's going to get, because if you remember from watching Star Wars, at the very bottom, a little bit of the text is cut off, and then it's like it gets to this part of the frame, and then you can see it. So right now, if this was just to go straight up like this, right, you would say, okay, that is clearly not what I want. But do not fret, do not worry. But first, before I show you how to animate it, we have to add a title. So Shift A again, and let's add some text. And we can tab, and this is going to be episode null. Very important. So now that we have that, let's change that to whoa, lots of stuff is going on right now. Oh, font, there we go. And Franklin Gothic something, Demicond regular. So there we have it, and you can see right now that it is not emitting light, which means it will not work if it does not emit light. So let's go to material, add a new material, from principled to emission, color. Yes, I still had it copied, E7A400. So let's so this one, unlike this, because this had to be like squared away or whatever, this can actually be centered, so it makes it super easy. Just center, under paragraph alignment, center, and center. And now we can just change it to 0. Okay, so that is too close. So, and it's also scaled a little bit too big, so all you do is press S, sort of pinch it in. That looks about right. Grab along the y-axis, and That looks about right. So now we have to connect them somehow because they're separate. We need to connect them. So first, click on episode null, then control. Oh wait, that's for over there. Okay, sorry. Click on this, episode null, then shift. Hold down shift, click on that, and then control P and set parent to object. So now, watch what happens when you grab this along the y-axis. Oh my goodness, it all moves. So, we need this to be just out of view. Actually, we'll do this so that you can see that this is really going to work. Let's tilt it. So, we're going to tilt it. Now, if we were to look at what it looks like right now, that's upside down though. There we have it. That's what it looks like right now, and we want it to be tilted. So just select the main body. Do not select the episode null. Otherwise this will not work because this is parent to this, not vice versa. Okay, so we can rotate this about the x-axis like that. Boom. -65 is what we're going to try and compare it to I press 0, numpad 0 for, and yes, I am aware that this needs to be down here and just going up right at this point, not there. Otherwise, yeah, that would be conflict. That's not what actual Star Wars looks like. So really quick, I'm going to check this Star Wars video to see if this is roughly the correct amount of tilt or not. If it looks right, then so I have made the executive decision that the tutorial that I watched at one point in time was wrong, and 67.5, -67.5 degrees is the correct amount. Now we want to animate it. So let's grab this about along the y-axis and put it right out of view. So let's keyframe it right there. If you were to just make this go away from you like this, okay, see what's happening? Yes, you see it, but by the time all the text is in, you can't read it. There's no way you could read it, right? So what you need to do is be changing the Z value and the Y value at the same time, but they're not perfectly related. So this is how you do this. Let's do this. So let's pull down a new thing and let's minimize this a little bit more. So in this frame, we're going to see what the camera sees, and we're also going to render this one just to really give us perspective. Now I'm going to select the transformation orientation to local. So now if I move it along the y-axis, it still does this. I'm telling you, Blender is broken. But there's a way around this, because it should be sliding straight that way, not really moving that way, not really moving directly that way. It should be an angle. The only problem is it's not wanting to do that. So globals, you'll just have to keep it on that. So select this, and over here we have the gizmos. Where is that at? Ah, there we go. Object gizmos to move. Okay. So wait, what happens if no, it still does that? Yep. So it really is broken. Okay, so let's keyframe it there. I already did. So if you select this green arrow and you pull, you can see that it's doing the Star Wars text crawl just like that. So did I show you how to turn this green arrow on? I hope I did, and I hope you caught it. I'm kidding, I'll show you one more time. So right here under show gizmos, right there, move. You could also do rotate and scale, but that's not necessary. So when you select this, the gizmo will show you like that. And it does fade out eventually, which I will show you how to do. So let's Control Z ourselves into so that it's exactly where I started. Okay. Now I did notice that the scale is a little worse. So first we need to figure out how long the text crawl lasts. 70 seconds. So this is easy math. 240 plus, in parentheses, oh my goodness, 70 times 24. And that 1,920. So let's just change that to 2,000. Oh my. And at that point, it should be roughly there. And we're going to keyframe that. And we do actually want this to be not quadratic. So if you go right here, graph editor, interpolation mode, linear. So if we go back to the keyframe, we can watch it. One big problem. The text is not as wide as it was. So there are two ways to fix this. Option number 1, scaling the text. Option number 2, scaling the camera. I think you know which I'm going to choose. Actually, we need one where it's like that. Okay. And now we can just scale it. No. Now we have to do this whole rigmarole again. Okay. That's perfect. So 6.24. So just remember that number. 6.24. Negative 6.24 divided by 2. Keyframe that. And then no. What? Oh. Haha. Negative 6.24 divided by 2. Okay. Yeah, we don't want it shifting. No. This is not good. So, but this is easy. This is an easy fix. Grab along the y-axis. And now, hopefully that didn't somehow mess it up. It did make it more three-dimensional, honestly. Okay, so let's preview our scene. Ba, da, 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 da. So we want it to fade out. So I think I showed you this, how to do this already, but I'm going to show you again. So right now the strength is 1. If the strength is 0, then it disappears. So let's go to 1,900. Strength. Keyframe that. Go to the last keyframe. Strength 0. Keyframe that. Now you can't see it, but you can see. What can you see? I'm so confused. So what I'm doing now is I'm selecting it over here, and I'm pressing delete on the number pad. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Okay, so this part. Okay, same thing, same deal. 1900, strength 0. Oh, whoops, strength 1. And then 1920, strength 0. So now, if we press 0, numpad 0, we can look to the camera and see that we can see nothing. And this dot right over there, that's just the text, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. You won't see that dot when you render. Speaking of rendering, let's press F12 and see what happens. Okay, so this is the render. It's working on it. Ah, that definitely should be farther. Hmm. That is a very good point. Very good point, Nathan. Let's see. So what I'm saying right now is I don't think there's enough space between. There's not enough space. So well, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to select this, go back to the first keyframe, and I will move this back a hair, keyframe that. And then this, I'm going to there we go. So now this is just beautiful. That is a masterpiece. Whoops. Okay. Oh, reminder to save your project. Save. Okay, so there we have it. And really, at this point in the project, you've done the part of the video that I said I would show you. So, yeah, let me look how long I've been recording. 53 minutes. But the tutorial is not 53 minutes long. Okay, so I have shown you how to do this Star Wars text. And I have shown you how to do the text crawl. And now you can just render your animation, whatever. But there is more to it than just that. Like, let's create stars. Let's do the famous, when it pans down onto like a moon or something. But that's going to be very involved. So, this is the end of the tutorial. If you want to see stars and a moon, make sure to check out my tutorial that will be coming out less than a week from today. So, yeah. Anyway, so I hope this video helped you. Make sure to leave comments if you did not catch anything. But I mean, that's the Star Wars text call right there. My biggest problem when I was trying to create the Star Wars text crawls was just I was trying to make it go on the Z axis alone. And you can see right here, if you're looking at the Y values and the X values, I mean the Y and the Z values, they're both changing. And basically, if you know algebra, what we have here is a line, a straight line. It's moving in a straight line, but the slope of the line determines, and since the slope is not 1, that means the y value is changing quicker than the z value, which is why this is working. It's sort of like watching when you fill up gas, the gas is moving slower than the dollars. Always slower than the dollars. There was a time when the dollars moved slower than the gas. Anyway, so, and we have our fade out. So I don't really know. Yeah, that's it. So if you want to see the stars, if you want to see the camera pan down onto a moon that you can create yourself, then make sure to check out my other tutorials. Well, the other tutorial. There's only one other one, and it isn't out yet, but it will be out in a week after this video is published. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video or tutorial. Actually, I didn't even see you because this is screen recording. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.